everyone and welcome to my booktube channel. My name is Sarah and today I'm going to be doing a review of The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. The way I like to do my reviews is I start with a spoiler-free section where I go over the synopsis and my general thoughts, and then towards the end I will get into a more spoilery section, but I will warn you before that happens, so if you haven't read this book, you're safe. This entire story is centered around the goings-on in the lives of three different women, Megan, Rachel, and Anna, all of whom are interconnected in different ways, some more obvious than others. Megan is a cheating, unhappy housewife who is in an emotionally abusive relationship with her husband of 3 years, Scott. They live in a very charming, expensive house very near to a train track, and it is this that connects them to the next main character, struggling divorcee and alcoholic, Rachel, who takes this train by their house every single day and sees little bits and pieces of their lives as she goes by. Over time, she becomes sort of obsessed with them because she thinks they have the perfect marriage and the perfect life. Rachel is only slightly in touch with reality and very rarely sober, and so her ideas of these people are very grandiose and inaccurate. Rachel's also semi-obsessed with her ex-husband Tom and his new family. Since divorcing Rachel, Tom has remarried and had a baby girl with the next main character in the story, Anna, who is a very paranoid woman. The novel picks up just as Megan has gone missing, and although her husband is suspected of the crime, there is no proof of it, and so it becomes a search for a missing person, but also a tentative murder investigation. Rachel is involved because of some of the things that she witnessed during the night that Megan went missing, as well as the fact that there are huge chunks of that night that she herself does not remember, meaning that she herself could be the culprit. I really liked this book. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I don't really often read adult thriller / mysteries, but I think it's a genre that I really love. I'm definitely going to be picking up more of these types of books in the future. I don't really know where to start though, so if you have any recommendations, leave them in the comments for me. But yes, this was a very enjoyable book, and if you like this kind of genre, I would highly suggest you pick it up. But that is going to be it for these non-spoilery sections, so if you have not read this book, I would suggest that you go now, read it, come back, and we can discuss all the spoilery business, but from now on, spoilers run rampant. Okay, so the whole time that I'm reading this book, I'm trying to figure out, of course, who the culprit is, what really happened. But the thing is, with these types of books, is the people that are most obvious are never the actual culprit. So in my head, the whole time, I'm just picking off the people that seem most obvious. So to me, that meant that Megan's husband was off the list, as well as her lover, Kamal. And that also crossed Rachel off the list in my mind because it seemed too obvious, although there were times when I was doubting whether or not Rachel was responsible. Even though, because Megan had gone missing and cheated on her husband and all of these things had sort of ruined Rachel's perfect illusion of them, and that had really made her unhappy, I think that in the core of her, all that Rachel really wanted to do was help Megan. And besides that, the murder investigation sort of gave Rachel purpose, and that was all she was really looking for in the first place. The whole time I sort of began to pull for Rachel to find the killer, to find her own redemption. I wanted her to pull this off. I wanted her to become the hero of sorts. I will say that she was the only character that I actually liked. As for the men, they were all terrible. I didn't like any of them. Okay, every single person in this novel is terrible, but I really liked Rachel. So let's work our way down from least terrible to most terrible, shall we? To me, the least terrible was Megan's therapist turned lover, Kamal, who I thought had a very nice personality, except for the fact that he's like a terrible father and husband and a cheater. He's not a good person. And then there's Scott, Megan's husband of what, 3 years? Didn't like him one bit either. He was violent and unpredictable, and I didn't like him, especially when all of those things happened in his house where he beat up Rachel and he locked her in his house. It was awful. That whole scene was the most intense for me. Honestly, more intense than even like the last few end scenes. When she was in his house, I was freaking out. And then lastly, there's Tom, the murderous sociopath. I hated him with a fiery passion. I think one of the biggest problems I had with him, besides the fact that he had murdered Megan and all these other terrible things is the way that he made Rachel feel during their entire relationship. He always blamed everything on her and he made her feel so terrible, and I felt all of the emotions that she was feeling, and it was just, oh, it was hard for me. I hated him. Also, in general, he reminded me a lot of Tom Buchanan from The Great Gatsby, and I think there were a few parallels because he and Anna both have such apathy towards the feelings of others, and neither of them accepts responsibility for their terrible actions. Overall, I thought this novel was very well paced and very interesting. Like I said, I didn't really like any of the characters except Rachel, who I was pulling for the whole time, and I feel like her ending was very hopeful and very good, and I was happy for her. I really enjoyed the writing style. I thought it was very lyrical. So yes, I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. You guys should let me know down below if you have read this book and what you thought of it. If you liked this video, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe if you're new here. I post new videos twice a week. If you guys would like to follow me on Twitter or any of my social medias, I will leave the links to all of those in the description box below as always. But most of all, I hope you guys have enjoyed watching this video, and I will see you in my next one. Goodbye!